I think the last point that or the last question that I want to ask is, how do we define true success for the young Muslim from a career perspective? We've asked a lot of deep questions. I'm not sure if you can take this one.
Yeah, no, I think personally, I would say that you need to realize that, like, I always say this to my business partners, especially when times are tough, right? I'm like, look, it's not important what we have. It's important who we become, right? And I think right now you have an identity of who you are, and you probably have a future identity of who you want to be, right? And fundamentally, I'm saying any job, any career, it has different variables, like the type of organization, your manager. But the biggest, most important variable in all of that is you, right? And you can adjust and adapt to anything. You know, this is one of the greatest human traits, adaptability. You can, like, I went to see some family, and they're from, we kind of had a wedding on the weekend. They're from Western Sahara, right? Like, you imagine how hot the Sahara is, yeah? So there's people who live in the Sahara, right? And then there's people who live in places like UK where it's freezing, and Denmark. So human beings, they adapt. And so for you as a human being, you're adaptable, right? But fundamentally, what you need to realize that where you are right now, that's not who you are, right? And you as a person are in control of your identity. This is what I'm saying. Allah's given you the choice. Allah would not hold you accountable if He didn't give you the choice of who you can become. Allah would never hold you accountable. He would never say pray 5 times a day if He knows you can't pray 5 times a day. That's oppression, right? That's injustice. Allah is not unjust, right? He's just. So if He's told you to do something, that means you can definitely do it, right? And so what I feel is that you need to cement an identity for yourself as a person and become that identity. And a lot of my work that I do, coaching with people and business people and individuals, is really saying, look, you are here right now, and you know, this is the person you are now, your character, your identity. But that's not who you are. That's the character that you've become. The character of who you actually want to be is here. Okay, so first, like I said, is defining who is that person. What is this person doing all day? Like the kind of stuff I would love to be doing, like now, is this kind of stuff where I'm helping other people, making videos, making content. That's the stuff, alhamdulillah, I'm doing with my time, right? And so in the same way, you want to define who am I, what would I be doing, how would it be, like defining this character and this identity, and then working on becoming that person. And then all the byproducts like money and success and fame and all that stuff will come naturally if you're focused on becoming that person. And that's the most important thing.
We're going to close on that. That was an amazing point. And I really love to hear the reflections and thoughts of the listeners. You know, comment whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube. I'd love to hear about everything we've covered. You know, how you kind of thinking, how you feeling about viewing your kind of career path, because it's a big step, it's a big journey, and it's not an easy decision to make. But I think everything we've covered in this episode, in terms of the principles, in terms of the content, in terms of the kind of the mindset and the thinking, I think if we really internalize that and really, you know, hone that in to ourselves, then I would 100% say, like, your journey the trajectory will be towards success, you know, inshallah. And just really kind of deep in that and really taking it in, and 100%. It's just, there's so much there. So, you know, we might have to go back over it a few times, but really bring that in. Because again, I think the Muslim that has that mindset, even if you don't kind of get to your kind of end goal, whatever it is that you perceive, like, there's still success there. Because fundamentally, again, I mentioned this in another episode, is that we live for the next life, live for the akhirah. But, you know, what we do in our kind of day-to-day is what we're going to be defined by. And again, if we're approaching it with the right anchors, with the right principles, then you can't lose. You just can't lose. It's only going to be a win-win with that mentality, that mindset. So 100% take this all into account, really think about it, really reflect on it, and definitely share some thoughts. I'm going to end it there. Is any last words from yourself?
No,
that was a really great way to end.
I'm really, really happy when I see brothers like yourself, because for me, like, you know, when you sent the request in that you wanted to do a podcast, you said you're going to do one someday. And I thought, this guy ain't coming back again, right? Like, so many people contact me and there's no substance there. But you actually took action and you came back, and I was like, whoa, this guy, that guy's back? Like, he wants to do a podcast, right? So I'm really, really happy that, alhamdulillah, we have people in the ummah like you who who are wanting to do work for the young people, because they really need people like yourself. So it's great work that you're doing. I'm looking forward to what you're going to do in the future, inshallah.
Allah, by the will of Allah, any good or success will come, from him. And also, just to point out, if you want to check out more Mohammad Arshad's work, got Muslim CEO, Muslim Mastery. I believe you're on Instagram. I believe you're on LinkedIn,
YouTube.
Everywhere. Check it out. There's so much great content there, and especially with the mindset and the mastery stuff, you could find many, many more gems. So I'm 100% going to advise anyone listening to this to check that out afterwards or whenever they want to really benefit and start building that mindset even more, because it's a journey. It's not going to happen in one day.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen in one podcast episode. It's going to take a bit of time, and you might need reminders here and there. But we will close it there. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.